everyone! Real quick, just so you know, I'm going to be talking about season 2 of Hazbin Hotel, episode 4. Why did I not start with 3? Because I really need to yap about episode 4, and I don't have any friends I can yap to about it until Sunday when I see my sister. So please, please, please forgive me. But if you don't want to be spoiled, feel free to scroll up, save the video for later, and come back. I will appreciate it if you do. If you don't, that's fine too. But much love if you're leaving now. So, anyway, episode 4 was Chef's Kiss. Like, the perfect episode. And as someone who loves Alistair, the fact that it was an Alistair-themed episode, and I was really kind of pissed because Alistair hadn't had much screen time yet this season. Like, he had a few lines in episode 1, and then in episode 3, he literally said nothing. He just disappeared. He didn't say anything. But episode 4 came along, and Lucifer started picking on Alistair about the fact that he got almost killed by an angel and then walked away from Charlie when she needed him the most. And Alistair's eyes turned to radio dials, and he's like, fuck this shit, I quit. And he quit. And Lucifer's like, walk away, Bambi. And then, of course, we saw him shove the coffee onto Lucifer's shirt with his shadow. But anyway, so then he goes, and I knew about this, and I just want to check on my Alistair and Rosie fans, because if you didn't see the leaks, I know it took me about 4 weeks once I saw the leaks. I wasn't even trying to find the leaks. They just showed up on my YouTube page one day randomly. They had this thing, it said, Rosie owns Alistair's soul. And I was like, what? I just thought it was a theory. I clicked on it. It was the whole freaking music video in storyboard form. So I already knew a year ago that Rosie owned Alistair's soul. And it took me 3 to 4 weeks to get that in my mind, that they were not friends, that she is his owner, and he does what she says, and he is not his own person. And I was like, oh my God. So we get that big reveal, and then Alistair says something along the lines of, I just think I need to leave the hotel because I've been there a year and we still haven't gotten any closer to, and then she cuts him off. And I'm like wondering, well, why is she cutting him off? What's the plan here? She has a plan she's putting into action through him. And I'm wondering if it's like reaching Lilith, or if it's trying to take control of all of hell, or maybe even they want to become gods too, just like the V's do. I don't know, but it is crazy that that's where it stopped at. So then after the song with Rosie, and, she basically tells him, you're going to have to act alone on this, because she's not going to fix his staff. She won't fix his staff for him. He goes and he stands by a statue with Lilith, Lucifer, and Charlie. And he is just sitting by that statue. And all of a sudden he's like, and we do get backstory. We get his backstory, but that wasn't as important as this next part that happened. So I'm not going to go into details about that. I already kind of knew his backstory too because of leaks. But then he's sitting on this bench and he's trying to think of a plan of how to do something on his own. And then he thinks of something and he's like, well, that's clever. That's very, very clever. And I'm just like, oh boy, what is he plotting? What is going on? Because after I found out Rosie owned his soul and I found out his backstory, I didn't see any more leaks after that. I was lucky. I was blessed because apparently people saw another leak and I didn't realize that it had even been a leak that came out. So basically, Alistair decides to go to the entertainment district where, the V's live, and he decides he's going to fight them. And despite his staff being glitchy and having trouble the whole time, he's still managing to do pretty well against the V's, like getting them to be caught off guard, getting them hurt, But then all of a sudden, Nifty comes in with Husk because she sees that he's fighting Vox. Nifty comes in with Husk, throws Husk at Velvet, knocks Velvet down, and then Husk has to fight Velvet, and Nifty is stabbing the crap out of Valentino, and then it's just him and Vox again. And he's like, you're just going to lose again, just like you did last time. So I don't know what the theory is behind that, because they basically said in the first episode that he almost beat him last time. But Alistair is like, I beat you last time and I will beat you again. So I want to know more of what's going on with that. We get a little bit of the Vox and Alistair backstory. They were friends, and Alistair basically broke Vox's heart, honestly, because apparently Vox had feelings for him. From what I could tell. From what I could tell. Now, that's just me. I might be wrong on that. But then Nifty gets thrown on the ground by Valentino and has a gun pointed to her head. And as soon as that happens, Alistair's like, hold off your goons. I have a preposition for you. So I'm like, why did it take Nifty having a gun held to her head for you to say you have a preposition? What is going on with that? Because obviously he has some kind of plan. He thought up some kind of plan. So surely he had thought of this in advance. I just feel like he had thought of this in advance and he had everything planned out because he seemed so in control and confident the whole time. And he basically, the preposition was, you have to do two little things for me. You need to let these two go home, back where they came from, and you need to not touch Charlie Morningstar at all. And you can have me as your prisoner and in your prisoner parade. And I'm just thinking there's got to be something. There's got to be something in that deal because he said it so cockily, like he said it so confidently, and Vox accepted it so readily. And the look on Alistair's face was like, I put something else in here, but I'm not going to say what it was. I have to listen to the deal again to hear what's going on because, like, I really believe that when he made that deal with Charlie, and as we know, Vivzie has said that when Alistair makes deals, they're soul binding contracts. He made it where anytime he wants a favor that doesn't hurt anybody, he can ask her for that favor. But she took it as one favor. But then he says, one favor at a time of my choosing. So that tells me that he might have more favors that she can give him. So I'm like, what is the fine print in this deal that he made with Vox? Because Vox was just so super excited and over the moon about capturing Alistair. And then Alistair, of course, he was in control the whole time. He decided he wanted to be imprisoned. They let Nifty and Husk go. They took Alistair, ran him down the street with his ears down. And then they get into the V's tower and they have him as a prisoner. And they start singing the Don't You Forget reprise. And oh my God, that has got to be my favorite song on the soundtrack so far. Like, I'm not even kidding. Because Alistair is still so confident and cocky that he's pulled one over. And I don't know whether he has or not. Like, surely Vox, knowing him in the past, would know that Alistair usually has fine print on his contracts. But I think Vox was just overjoyed at the fact of having him as a prisoner that he didn't think about it. But basically, near the end of the episode, Alistair basically says, don't you forget, you ain't won yet. And then Vox is like, well, I hold your strings now because you're a prisoner, so I kind of have one, basically. But I feel like there's so much more that's going to happen, and I can barely wait. I can barely wait for episode 5 and 6 to come out. I want to see more of this Alistair being kidnapped by Vox lore. Oh my God. I'm like, oh my God. My Alistair comfort character lover inside of me was so happy the episode ended the way it did because Alistair was still confident and he didn't seem like he was doing anything against his will. I was thankful for that because that was one thing I was worried about. That was one of the major things I was worried about. That episode gave me anxiety. I've been having anxiety about episode 4 for the last 2 weeks. So I'm so glad that I finally got to quell that anxiety. But now I'm going to go watch episode 4 again to see if I can't figure out what the fine print might be in Alistair's little deal with Vox. And I'll probably yap about this more in the future, and I will probably yap about episode 3 tomorrow. But yeah, sorry for the long video. Thanks for listening to me if you did, and much loves!